So we are on our way to get Bambi. She is family to me. I know it's so dumb. I'm one of those crazy dog people, I know. So do I regret flying her over? Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, I'm Yvette and I moved to the UK in May this year. And one thing I always get questions about and people are shocked to find out is that I flew my dog over with me. So you guys have been commenting on Bambi being in my videos and someone suggested I include her because she looked lonely. And I was like, include her? Let's make a whole damn video about her, yeah? Yeah? I'm gonna turn into such a stage mum. I'll be like, yes! So in this video, I was gonna discuss how, why, and how much it cost to fly my dog all the way from Australia all the way to England. Bambi's not enjoying me. I've already turned into a stage mum at this point. Like, she's so over it. She's actually moping because I didn't take her for a big walk this morning because it's quite cold because it was 1 degree this morning and I was like, you know it's cold when I've got the Peruvian wool out. I got this jacket when I was in Peru and it's got like little llamas on it and it's so comfortable and I'm like, why haven't I been wearing this? Anyways, I'm really excited about my jacket, as you can tell. But I'm more excited to have my baby here with me. So, when we found out we were moving to the UK, I would only do it if I could take her with me. Because she is family to me. I know it's so dumb, I'm one of those crazy dog people, I know. The problem is, if I left her behind, she doesn't understand why I didn't come home. And that upsets me greatly. And I can't exactly FaceTime her, so I was like, no, I'm not gonna leave her. I don't want her to have abandonment issues. I adopted her when she was a baby from someone who actually took her to show her, like as a show dog, and then she didn't grow big enough because she's meant to be bigger, but I didn't grow very much either, I'm quite short. So I related, and I adopted her from someone who didn't want her because of some stupid reasons. So I was like, she's already been abandoned once because I've had to undo a lot of that show dog training with her, and like, she wouldn't defecate in front of me for like 6 months. Like, she obviously knew it was bad, which makes me think someone was aggressive with her. So like, we've done a lot to build a trust and relationship up with her, and I was like, I can't do it to her. I would feel so awful. We decided we'd look into flying her over, the safety, the costs and all that. Because it's so long, it is, on the flight I put her on, it was 17 hours. So I decided to fly over first, make sure we had an apartment that was dog friendly and everything was set up over here, and then fly her over. The downside is that you get taxed an import fee because they think I'm importing a goods to sell. I'm clearly not. I think it was like £100, and I was like, for the mental capacity of like flying her over and having time to just adjust myself before having to like focus on her needs, it was worth the £100 to me because so I came over in May and we flew her over in the end of July. So we had a few months just to like collect ourselves. In that time she stayed with my mum. You can avoid the £100 fee if you fly her over within 5 days of your arrival. So if you're already got a place and everything set up, I would have done that to save the money, but in our situation that was right for us. So yeah, so we had that time to adjust it for ourselves, which was helpful, and then that way we could focus on her. Now the process of getting her over, because it was such a long flight, being 17 hours, I wanted to hire a third party. You can just put them in freight on a plane. I hired the company Dog Tainers. Now, to give you, for some reason, and I can't explain this and I wish I could because I think it would be helpful, I got quotes off them a few different times because I was just like trying to, you know, before we commit to anything. And every time they gave me a different quote. In the end, it cost us $2,000 to fly her over. At one point, they were trying to charge me $3,500, but Dog Tainers was the cheapest but had really good reviews, so that's why I chose that one. In preparation to bring her over, firstly you need your dog's vaccination history, which I had, and the only other vaccine, so she just needed to be up to date with all her vaccinations, which I gave her when she was a puppy, so that was fine. Then the only other thing she needed was a rabies vaccination because the UK has rabies and Australia does not. So that's why she hadn't had it. So I got her the rabies vaccination before I left. It was like quite pricey. It was like $250, so like, I don't know, £130-ish. So not the cheapest, but I was like, cost versus get rabies, yeah, I'll pay. Also, it turns out she loves squirrels, so that was very much worth the cost. And then I got a crate, because I never crate trained her when she was a puppy. She was pretty well behaved from the start. I didn't need to transport her around. I never needed to. So she's never really been around crates, and she had a kennel, but she never used it. So enclosed spaces, I needed to make her feel a bit more at home. So I got her a crate off eBay, just a cheap one, to get her used to it. And I put her bed in there. I tried to get her to go in of her own accord, so it wasn't like me forcing her. So I put food in there, put her toys in there, her bed in there, got her used to it. And then I left that at my mum's when I left, so that she had that to kind of get used to it. Ideally, I would have liked that crate to be the one she came over in, but the pet trainers people said it wasn't like satisfactory for the standards. I don't know what that means. But I'd rather her be safe. So what we did was, in the end, I left that crate with mum, and then they took everything out of it and put it into one of their own crates that they knew was gonna like be okay for the journey. So that's everything I did in preparation for her flight. Now with pet trainers, I rang them because I started freaking out, because I was like, what if this is my brain, what if they take her out, because like generally to get to Australia you need 2 flights, or not generally, you need 2 flights unless you're going to Perth. So to get to Sydney you still need 2 flights. So I was like, okay, so in the layover in the middle, what if they take her out of her cage and leave her on the tarmac at Dubai in 40-degree heat? She's fluffy, she won't handle the heat, she might die, what if she gets heat stroke, blah blah blah. I spiraled. So then I rang pet trainers, and they said they always put them on the same flight. They always put them on the one that goes through Singapore. So in that flight, the flight lands in Singapore to refuel, but they don't come off the plane. So she stays in one spot. And then their pet trainers has someone on the ground at Singapore where they go in, they check that she's okay. So they might take her out and take her for a walk and put her back in, depending how much time they have. But yeah, so having someone in there to check that she's okay. The other good thing with pet trainers is they were giving me progress updates the whole time. So they told me when they picked her up. So they pick them up a day before they leave. And the reason for that is they can't feed them on the plane. I think it's a choking hazard. So they feed them the right time before the flight, and they time it for their digestive tract so that they don't defecate on the flight. They're probably going to wee themselves, that's just what happens, but they won't defecate because they don't eat. They time it so that they defecate the morning of the flight. Anyway, a lot of science into the digestive tract of dogs, but they sort that out as well. So she gets housed for a day, then she gets put on the plane, flies to Singapore. Someone in Singapore comes in and checks. They get water on the plane, they refill the water, all that, and then she flies to England. And then in England she gets checked by a vet. They check all her paperwork. I got pet trainers to do all the paperwork so that there was no mistakes in it, and they checked that she's had her vaccinations, all that kind of stuff. It was all good. A lot of people think there's a quarantine with the dogs. If you followed all the rules, there's no quarantine. It was like 2 hours since her landing to us picking her up. Also, pet trainers will deliver them to your place, but I thought I wanted to see her faster, and I already felt so guilty about flying her over that I wanted to like minimize the time she was alone, because it would have been so like I thought it would be so scary. She wouldn't sleep. She's not going to sleep for 2 days. Like, it's going to be a lot. But I filmed my day picking her up. So the day we went in the morning, I've got bits of clips, so I'll just talk around them because I didn't do a very good day vlogging because I was so stressed. First thing we did, we went and picked up her favorite foods, went to a pet store to get sure we had stuff that she'd be happy with. When we moved, we had to do an IKEA run. When Bambi moves, it is pets at home. Do they have her favorite? Mint steaks, also my favorite because her breath doesn't stink.
Now they've got so many flavours.
Where's the maxi pack?
Oh.
That's the biggest one. Let's just get that one. They're medium.
The mediums?
I suspected that her bed would be defecated in or like gross, so I made her a bed out of blankets that we could use straight away because I thought she'd want to sleep straight away. My little like Bambi corner I've made. We have her water bowl, and then I'm going to put some food in there for her, and that's a toy just so she has some toy. And then we're hoping that she comes with her bed, but in case the bed doesn't make it, I've made, if the bed even does make it, it's probably going to be destroyed with like pee and poo and vomit or whatever else bodily functions. So created like a little nest with our blankets, so hopefully she'll like that if she wants it, and then I'll replace it with a real bed if we need to, or we'll just wash her
open, and we'll see how we go. But hopefully she likes it. I'm trying to win her over with some food. We'll maybe put a treat in there too. Bambi! I'm not coming for you, Bambi! Arthritic melon. So we are on our way to get Bambi. Pet Trainers has messaged us and they've said that she's in customs, so she's passed her vet check and now she's just kind of going through the immigration customs thing, and apparently dogs need to do that. And then by the time we get there she should be ready. So we've packed a bag with all her favourite treats. We've got her mint sticks, greenies, some food. We've got her lead so that we can take her for a walk if she wants to run around, or she can sleep. I don't know, I just feel bad putting her through this, so we're just trying to suck up to her and buy her love with food. But I'm excited.
Yeah, we were both a bit nervous this morning.
It's a long flight for a puppy.
Yeah.
She's not even a puppy, it's a long flight for a dog.
And then one of the things is like you've got, because they're considered freight, you've got freight tracking, so you can track them along the way, and all it says is that they've arrived. Doesn't say anything about their condition.
I will say, Pet Trainers could give me more information about her mood. I need to know if she's happy or sad.
Yeah.
They're just telling me that she's okay,
that she's
which is
fine.
fine. Like, good, I'm glad, but like,
It's
how's
kind of
she
like how
feeling?
dog.
Yeah, so I will say that Pet Trainers, or dog trainers, whatever they're called, do deliver the dog to your apartment if you want, but we wanted to be there as soon as possible, so she was minimized the time by herself, because it'll be scary if she doesn't know anyone. So we're driving to Heathrow to get her ourselves because we feel guilty. So we have officially made it back to where we live in London. We have our puppy dog. Yeah, Bambi, you're so happy. She was amazing. I was really almost nervous that she'd come out and be like asleep or sad or timid or scarred in some way. But she was honestly in a really good mood, like better than normal. So I shouldn't have stressed so hard. Like I've been stressing for days. But she was so good. When she walks, she has like a bounce in her step, and that's when you know when she's happy, and she's been doing that. So I've just taken her to the park and we're letting her have a bit of a run around before we head back to the apartment where she'll see her new abode. In the container with her, we actually managed to get her bed here, which is good. I just wanted her bed because I thought it would help with her adjustment, because it will smell like her. It just needs to be cleaned because it got weed on, which is fair play. She was in there for a long time. But other than that, there was like no poo or vom or anything unexpected, which is great. And yeah, so she's honestly so happy, like happier than at home so far, so I don't feel guilty. So we're gonna go for a wander and let her run around the park. Cue montage of her having a ball. For the food, I get it.
So there you have it. You've seen us pick her up. She was completely fine. She's far better off a plane than I am, which proves that cargo is better than economy. So maybe go in with your checked bag because you'll have a better time, turns out. So do I regret flying her over? Absolutely not. The other adjustment was that we had a backyard in Australia and she is now an apartment dog. But she's so house trained, she's very well behaved. Like she does tricks and stuff, like she shakes hands and she's like, you know, what else does she do? Shake hands, roll over, all the usual stuff. So she's like disciplined. So being in an apartment's fine. And generally at home, she always sat with us anyway. Like she'd rather be with us than be outside. So I genuinely think her quality of life has improved significantly because if we're at home, she's inside with us. And then twice a day, so morning and evening, I take her for a walk for like half an hour around a park near where we live. So she goes and sees other dogs. Because the park's so nice here, she can come off leash, whereas in Australia there was no park. Honestly, in Australia I never took her off the leash too much because I was honestly scared she'd go after a snake, and like she will attack the snake. She'll think that's the best game ever and then she'll get eaten. She rarely ever came off the leash, but here I'm like, go to town, nothing can hurt you here. So she sees lots of dogs, she gets to run around off leash. Like I said, she loves squirrels, so she spends all day chasing squirrels. I also think the climate is quite good for her here. So she's actually a sheltie, a Shetland sheepdog, in case I haven't said that before. So obviously lots of fluff, originally from like Scottish Highlands, like weather. So she's used to the cold and does better in the cold. Whereas, so she would often get heat stroke, or like I'd honestly, in Australia, I would leave the air conditioning on and leave her inside when I went to work in the summer because I felt so bad leaving her out in the sun with her fur in like 40-degree heat. If it was over 35, I left her inside because I was like, that's not fair. So she's honestly thriving. She sees squirrels, she goes for walks twice a day, which she didn't get that, not twice a day, she had a yard, but no proper walks. And yeah, so, and better weather. And so I think it was the right decision. I'm really happy with pet trainers. I think doing it again, I would probably do it myself because I've got the experience, but I didn't know how she would react. I didn't know the paperwork. I didn't know how to, and I wasn't on the other side to like time it properly. Like I think it'd be different if she was on my flight, but that wasn't the case. So I definitely wanted to make sure I did everything right by her, and also by the UK government. So I'm super happy. She's super happy. She's super grumpy right now because it was too cold for a proper walk, but you'll get it on later. Am I boring you? Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, people said you looked bored in the video, so I should include you, and now you don't even act interested. So yeah, so hopefully this video educates you a bit on like how to fly dogs long distance, because when I did my research, there was a lot of flying dogs from America to England or vice versa, which is, to be honest, only like less than 10-hour flight. So to do like a 23-hour flight with the dog, I was like, how am I gonna do this? That's not gonna like mentally traumatize her. And she honestly was so good. She came off that flight so happy. Oh, and the other thing, I was like, obviously she's gonna be in the apartment, so like if she has an accident, like defecates by accident or like in the night, like I'm not gonna discipline her like the first few nights because she's still adjusting. Not a single accident. Not once in this apartment has she ever had an accident. That is some good training. You're so smart. You're so smart. So if you like this video, you found it interesting, give it a thumbs up and remember to hit subscribe so I can see you next time, and tell me in the comments below if you've done this or you found this helpful, or if not, say hi to Bambi. So introductions to Bambi. You're so over this video. She's like, please leave me alone. I want to sleep. I don't want to be here right now. But look how cute she is. Anyways, I've rambled. She's been distracting this whole time. I'm choking on fluff right now. We need to call it a day. I'll see you next time. Bye.